Welcome to Unit 7, Hour of Code. This week, I'm really excited for you to be able to dive in and to actually do some computer coding of your own, even if you've never done computer coding before. We'll talk about the advantages of teaching code and this type of thinking in just a minute. So we have Hour of Code where you will be the computer designer. And then for the last part of your assignment, you will be finding quality applications for your dream classroom. So let's get started. I'm going to go over here and let's first go into an hour of code. So we're going to go to studio.code.org/HOC/1, and that will take us into our first coding experience. So let's chat for just a minute about why would we want students to learn how to code. Students are coding as early as kindergarten and some even as early as pre-K. So, quote by Steve Jobs, everyone in this country should learn to program a computer because it teaches you how to think. I think that it teaches you a way of creatively thinking and thinking in a logical way. So I would add just that little bit to Steve Jobs' comment. So we live in a digital age where computers are everywhere. You can't go anywhere with not having to interact with some type of computer technology. And these technologies have become an essential part of all of our lives. Every student should have access to technology at different levels for different amounts of times for different reasons. And this gives us reasons to learn how to program, that a computer goes from something that is magical and happens out of magic to something that we as humans control. So why should we teach coding instruction, and why should we teach this way of thinking early in students' lives? Well, coding or computer programming, just like learning a foreign language, is a set of instructions that follow patterns. So if you think about a foreign language that you have learned, it's all about learning patterns. Computer coding is all about learning patterns, and these patterns are a set of instructions that the computer can understand so it can perform some kind of task or have some kind of outcome. There are many advantages for learning to code early and throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. One of the reasons is that learning programming actually empowers kids. Coding puts kids in the control of a computer, and through experimentation builds mastery in sequencing skills, counting, problem solving, logical thinking, cause and effect, and critical thinking. So think of all those different things that students are learning through experimentation. Additionally, students can express themselves through code, and they find it really fun to create games through these applications and to create websites and to control different things like robots. The earlier we introduce coding to children, the more comfortable they will be with knowing they are in control of the technology, and the more successful they will become when they're presented with more challenging learning opportunities. Coding requires an extreme amount of experimentation where things do not work a lot of the time, and it requires experimentation to find the right answer. Now, does that sound like solving a math problem? Yes, it does. It's the same kind of concepts and requires the same kind of experimentation and finding patterns. Students are extremely eager to learn how to code because they can see usually some kind of visual outcome. It's very similar to learning a foreign language, where the language of coding should begin early with vocabulary terms such as program and sequence and algorithm. And then developing these basics provides students with the computer skills that they can use throughout their entire lives. So that's some reasons why we're have this on the buffet of choices for you in this class. So let me go ahead and I'm going to open up sharing. Okay, so to get started, we are going to go to a nonprofit organization called Hour of Code. And the location is here. I'll spell it out for you again. studio.code.org/HOC/1. And that gets us right into actually doing some programming for Angry Birds. So that should be fun. I'm not going to play this video for you now, but please, when you're working on this on your own, take the 2 minutes and go ahead and play this video. Each of the hour of codes that go from kindergarten clear up to college level, they have different levels of difficulty, but almost everyone starts off with some kind of introduction that's really interesting for you and for the kids. So go ahead and play that when you get to this area. Okay, so maybe some of you are familiar with Angry Birds. And so we are actually going to write some of the code to move those characters around to solve the maze. So this program's really great and easy to start with because there are lots of helpers, and I'll point out where some of those helpers are. So here's one of the helpers. It's the brightest on the screen. It says, "Can you help me catch the naughty pig? Stack a couple of move forward blocks together and press run to help me get there." So we'll click on the OK. And then there's another helper right here. It says, "Drag a move block and snap it below the other block. And then hit run to try your program." So I'm going to close those out and let's talk about this screen. So this is a maze, and the maze will change on each of these steps. So there's 20 different small mazes before you get a certificate saying that you have finished. So on this maze, here's the Angry Bird, and the Angry Bird needs to catch the pig. So we use these block-based programming that it's called. So we use these Lego-like blocks and we move them over here to our workspace. And that's how we get the bird to catch the pig. So these are the blocks that we have to work with, and this is our workspace. Always when you're programming, you need some kind of action command. So our action command is when run, and then there's already one block here to get us started. When run, move forward. So that would take the bird and move the bird forward one step. So we already have that here. So what do we need? Which of these blocks do we need to add to here so that it catches the bird, catches the pig? Well, if we move forward, when run, so it says the action, when run, move forward one step, and then we would need to move forward a second step. That's right. So let's go ahead and grab this block, and we're going to hear a clicking sound, click, which says that it fits. And then let's test it out by clicking on run. Okay, so you can hear that there are all kinds of noises, and there's noises for when things work out, and there's noises for when things don't. So let's look at the actual code. So we'll click on Show Code. So one thing that I wish they would improve here is that they need the action command there. So really this should say when run, move forward, and then you see we have 2 parentheses and a semicolon, move forward, parentheses, and a semicolon. So that's the code. So I would encourage you to look at the code each time, because the more difficult these mazes get, some mazes will eventually have you start writing this code out yourself instead of using the blocks. So let's press continue. Now, if you look up here, we're on the second maze. Let's look at this one. All right, so let's look at the maze and talk ourselves through the maze, look at our block options, and then decide what order we want them in and which blocks we want to use. So here's the angry bird, and when run, we need some kind of action. When run, we want to make 1 step, then another step forward, and then another step forward in order to get to the pig. So I'm going to let you think about that for just a second. What would you put in there? Okay, so we know we need to move forward once. So when run, move forward, that would put our bird here. And then we need to move forward one more time and then another time. So I'm going to grab this move forward block and drop it right there. You hear the clicking sounds. We know that it's the right kind of block to fit. So when run, move forward once, move forward twice, which would put us there. And then we'll move forward one more time. All right, let's go ahead and click on run and see if it works. It's okay if it doesn't. We can continue to play around. And that's what's great about these, is that it lets students know that experimentation is okay. There are lots of things that we learn that don't turn out right the first time. And part of learning is trying different things to see if the pattern will fit. Let's click on run. Move forward once, move forward twice, move forward 3 times. And we caught and we caught the pig. All right, let's click on show code. So when run, we move forward once, we move forward a second time and a third time. And we'll click continue. Now we're moving to our third maze. Now this maze has some different items here. If we turn the wrong way, we are going to blow up. So we want to make sure that we're turning the right way. Now, if you want to play around and actually run into the dynamite, the TNT, go ahead and do that. That's part of playing around and having fun with it. So when run, move forward. So whatever direction that the beak is, that's what forward is. So when run, move forward, which would place our bird here. Then we need to move forward one more time. And in order to get to the pig, we need to have the pig turn around. So I like to put my cursor on what would be the beak's mouth and say, I need the bird to turn around this way. So I'm looking for a turn around that way, which is a right turn. And after it turns around, we need to move forward one more time. So when we run, move forward, move forward. So move forward, move forward. Then we want the bird to turn around. And then the bird needs to move forward one more time. Okay? When run, move forward, turn around, and move forward one more time. Let's go ahead and click on run, see if we have this one right. Move forward, turn around, and move forward. All right, we did it. So we're going to show the code. Now, there are 3 parts to your assignment in this unit. The first part is to complete all 20 mazes here. You will get a completion certificate at the end. The second step is I'm going to show you a maze, and you need to write down the 5 lines of code. Make sure when you're writing down the 5 lines of code that you're writing down the whole thing. Move forward, parenthesis, parenthesis, and a semicolon. Okay? So when, run, move forward, write the whole code down. That's the second part of your assignment, and I'll talk about the third little part in a minute. That's why it's important for you to look at that code after each maze that you do, and you really can pick up that pattern really fast. Okay, so I think that you are good to go here. So you will finish all of the mazes. When you get to the end, it will ask you for your name. Please type in your first and last name, and it will bring up a certificate. And then you need to do a screenshot of that certificate. There's lots of ways that you can do a screenshot. One of my favorite ways is just to go to your Windows area. If you're on a Windows machine, type in snipping, and you have this snipping tool. And this is a way that you can make a copy of something on your desktop. So I'll click on New and choose Rectangular. And if I hold my mouse key down and pull, then it takes a picture of just that piece of the screen. And I'll click on File, Save As, call it Angry Birds 2, whatever you want to name it. And now you have saved that screenshot. So you will need a screenshot of your completion certificate when you get all the way finished with 20. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the module. And I'll show you an example of the assignment. Now, this one is a, I had someone hand this in, this image here. That's a different program from a different semester. So I had students in another semester do a different program. So don't hand this in. Hand in your completion certificate. So that is part 1. Part 2, you are going to write 5 lines of code based on the maze that I give you in the assignment. Part 3, you are going to do a search for computer applications for your dream classroom. So how you do that is that you just go to any search, and maybe I'll type in best 2018 computer apps for 4th grade. So I'll kind of look through these and think about you in the classroom. What interests you, and you pick 8 that you're interested in. So so I'll look at some of these. Keep in mind that you do not need to download the application or pay any money for anything. This is just you investigating, okay? You don't have to download anything. But if there's something that you like, go to it, check it out. And for each of those, you need to write its name down. What is its name? Give a couple of sentence description. Make sure that you're writing the description in your own words. Do not copy what someone else has written about it. That description should be after your investigation in your own words. Then say what topic it is, what grade level that it's for, and it might be good for this says kindergarten through 2nd grade. So it might be something like that. and its price. All right, those are the pieces that you need for part 3. All right, let's go back to our modules here. And let's look at our assignment. Okay, so for part 1, I have a little video there for you to watch that talks about an hour of code. This is the site that you go to that where you do all pieces of the maze until you get your certificate at the end. Make sure that you are viewing code along the way because you're going to be responsible to write your own code in step 2. Take a screenshot of your completion certificate. So you will be able to put your first and last name in here and click on submit. Take a screenshot of that completion certificate. Then you are going to solve this maze right here. You're going to have 5 lines of code. And then for part 3, you need to do a search for good apps in your chosen dream classroom. You need 8 of those. You do not need to download anything, but you need to learn more about it, all right? Write a review of what the app does in a couple of sentences. Write the subject and the grade level and what the cost is. This is just for 8 of those. Make sure that you're just putting these, all of this should be in one Word document, okay? So you're going to have your certificate as part 1. Part 2, you're going to write those 5 lines of code to solve this simple maze. And then part 3, all still in one document, you're going to find 8 computer applications that you would be interested in and possibly using in your own dream classroom. So that's it. It's a really fun assignment. And if you're interested in learning more code, you can just click right back here. There's all kinds of code that can take you to all different levels of learning. So there's all kinds of things from grade K to 5, 6 to 12, and K and beyond K-12. So there's all kinds of things that you can learn to code. You can create your own Minecraft thing, create a dance party. You can do a JavaScript coding, but all of them are fun and easy to use. So go and look there if you're interested in learning more. So have a fantastic week. I think you'll really love and enjoy this. It's quite simple. I have the example for you in the unit. So have a fun and fantastic week.